that schedule. Mr. Speaker, when you look at schedule in this Constitution of Kenya, there are several schedules. We have schedule number 1, we have schedule number 2, that way. Schedule number 1 on counties, it clearly indicates that schedule has been inserted there pursuant to what article? Like first schedule, it says it is pursuant to Article 6, Subarticle 1 of the Constitution. Second schedule, Mr. Speaker, sir, it indicates that it has been inserted there pursuant to Article 9, Subarticle 2. That way until the last schedule. One of the problems you find in this proposed schedule, it does not indicate it has been inserted there pursuant to what schedule. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have several schedules in several pieces of legislations. And all schedules must indicate they have been inserted there pursuant to what article, to what section of the substantive law. This one, once ratified by the people of Kenya, it will hang there. And therefore, as correctly advised by other people who appeared before us, it may be a superfluous schedule. But be that as it may, Mr. Speaker, sir, let me go to the substantive issue concerning the constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, I come from a region called Mount Kenya. We want to say we are very happy that the people of Kwale have been given 2 constituencies. The people of Mombasa, they have been given 3 constituencies. The good people of Kilifi have been given 4, and Bungoma have been given 3. But I'm just wondering, Embu has been given 1, Kirinyaga has been given 1, Muranga has been given 1, Tharaka-Nithi has been given 0, Nyandarua has been given 0, Nyeri has been given 0. Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, what did we do to the promoters of BBI, those of us who come from Mount Kenya? How come, Mr. Speaker, sir, I have looked at a place called Nyeri, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, Nyeri has about 500,000 registered voters. Mr. Speaker, sir, Kwale has about 250,000 registered voters. Mr. Speaker, sir, Muranga has 600,000 registered voters. Mr. Speaker, sir, the people of Bungoma, registered voters, they are about 500,000. Some people have argued, no, you should not consider voters, you should consider population as set out by Article 89. Fair enough. Muranga has about 1.1 million inhabitants as per 2019 census. But it has only been given 1 extra constituency. And again, Mr. Speaker, sir, when you look at Article 89 that talks about delimitation of constituencies, nowhere the term counties appears. It's all about constituencies. And therefore, the criteria should not have been counties, it is constituencies. The effect of this bill will mean a constituency like Kieni, which has about 100,000 plus registered voters, with almost 200 and something residents, and with a huge, what we call surface area, will not get an opportunity to get an extra constituency. A place like Gatanga in Muranga County, which has almost 100,000 registered voters and 200,000 registered voters, will not get an opportunity to get an extra constituency because Muranga has only been given 1. What of a place like Nyandarua in Kinagop, a huge, a highly populated constituency? Because Nyandarua has not been allocated a constituency by BBI, Nyandarua people, particularly the people of Kinagop, will not get an opportunity to get an extra constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, on that reason, I am not so sure whether that schedule is fair to the so many counties of Mount Kenya region. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me now go to the errors. This report, as correctly stated by the chair of the committee, the co-chair, we do have 2 reports, one before the National Assembly, another one before the Senate, and, sorry, the bills. We do have 2 bills, one before the National Assembly, another one before the Senate. Mr. Speaker, sir, those bills are different. The one before the Senate, Mr. Speaker, sir, clause 13, make reference to an article 13B, subarticle 2. The one before Senate makes reference to a proposed article 13B, subarticle 3. The second difference between the two bills, the one before the National Assembly, clause 48. On the marginal note, there's a difference in the reference to Article 188. Mr. Speaker, sir, the third difference between the two bills. We have the second schedule, the one before the Senate, makes reference to paragraph 1 in Article 89, subarticle 7. The one before the National Assembly makes reference to Article 87, subarticle 7 in its paragraph 1. Mr. Speaker, sir, those are not simple typographical errors, particularly the one that refers to Article 89, subarticle 7. Why? We all know one of the most contentious debates in this bill is on the proposed power, on the proposal to take away or to interfere with the powers of the IBC. The error in Article 89, subarticle 7 clearly touches on Article 89, which refers to powers of the IBC. So I'm wondering, if we were to endorse, which one will go to the referendum, Mr. Speaker, sir? And remember, majority of county assembly, more than 30, they passed the erroneous bill, the one before the Senate. The one which is IBC certified is the one that was passed by majority of the county assembly. And therefore, one can correctly argue this bill does not meet the constitutional requirement as provided in Article 257.
There's a point of order from Senator Kasanga, virtually. Senator Kasanga.
Report as well. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
First, I don't see Sakaja in the House, and he's also part of that report. When he comes, we'll give him, he's part of the report. Yes, proceed.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me now go to the issue of the cost of BBI. Mr. Speaker, sir, there is a report that is part of the annexure of the documents that were presented before the Joint Jailer Committee. That report was prepared by none other but the Parliamentary Budget Office. That report, that is dated 1st of October 2021, indicates that once this BBI passes, Kenyan public will be forced to pay an extra 20 billion Kenya shillings per year to shoulder the burden of BBI, 20 billion shillings. For example, Mr. Speaker, sir, National Assembly will have 453 members. The Senate will have 94 senators, an extra. We shall be having 94 senators. Members of the National Assembly will be 453. And also, you have not even factored nominated members of the National Assembly. You need to pay them salaries. You need to provide for car grants. You need to provide for their running. Mr. Speaker, sir, 20 billion shillings is enough money for us to buy vaccines and ensure each and every Kenyan has a COVID-19 vaccine, Mr. Speaker, sir. And you have not taken into account the cost of doing the referendum, Mr. Speaker, sir. There has been estimates that the referendum will need 14 billion to be conducted. And then you now, once we pass this BBI thing, then there will be an extra 20 billion shilling annually that will be incurred by the Kenyan taxpayer. Mr. Speaker, sir, I now go to 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. The proposed amendment to Article 203A. Mr. Speaker, sir, I was a great proponent of that idea. But when I look at the proposed Article 203, Article A, N, it does not speak to what I was fighting for, Mr. Speaker, sir. I thought, Mr. Speaker, sir, this proposal is going to embed the idea that county money should be shared, putting the factor of population, giving it the right weight. But this one is only about of saying each per capita distribution of county resources, you don't give it more than a 3 factor. When I look at Muranga, for instance, when I look at Nyeri, when I look at Nyandarua, when I look at Meru, they will still have amongst the lowest per capita distribution of county resources. And therefore, let no one say that this Article 203 Article A embeds the idea of 1 man, 1 shilling. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me now go to the idea of called the expanded parliament. Mr. Speaker, sir, here we have 67 honorable senators. National Assembly, as we speak, has 290 elected members of parliament, plus the women rep, plus 12 elected 12 nominated and nominated members of parliament. We have 47 women reps and 290. But once we expand the Senate, apart from the element of cost, there will be practical problems in this house. Number one, we will have to build new offices to accommodate the new members. Again, 2, it will take a long time for each member to get to catch the eye of the speaker. We will be staying here trying to catch the eye of the speaker, and I'm not so sure whether we'll be able to give adequate representation to the people. That problem will be more acute in the National Assembly because you'll be talking of a huge number. Mr. Speaker, sir, there was a time I went to China, I recall, when I was in the National Assembly. I was so surprised that China has 2,000 members of parliament in a population of 1.4 billion Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, when you divide that population vis-a-vis the representation of the Chinese parliamentarians, you will find 1 member of parliament in China represent about 500,000 persons. But in Kenya, what are we proposing under this proposal? You will be like you are representing 20,000 persons. Surely a poor country like this one. In the US, Mr. Speaker, sir, how many senators do we have? We have 100 members in a population of 300 million. Surely we are now, you are proposing now we create or we have 94 senators in a population of about 47, 48 million. I think we need to concentrate as a country on issues that bedevil us, issues of economics. We must ensure that we don't put all our resources in expanding legislature. We must remember we represent people. We should not make this society very heavy on the bureaucratic element of it. And that is what this BBI is proposing. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me now to go to the last issue, which issue is what is the effect of, what is the role of this parliament? Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to read Article 3, Sub-Article 1 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, sir, when I look at Article 3, Sub-Article 1 of the Constitution, it says, every person has an obligation to respect, uphold, and defend this Constitution. It means the Honorable Senator from Makueni, the minority whip, you have that obligation to defend Mr. Speaker, sir, it means the Honorable Senator from Kisii, Professor, you have an obligation to defend this Constitution. It means, my friend from Nandi, you have an obligation to defend this Constitution. When we are being told we pass manifestly and clearly unconstitutional amendments, whichever it is now settled that this bill has unconstitutional amendments, we are breaching Article 3, Subarticle 1 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have taxed my mind to read Article 257 of the Constitution, the so-called popular amendment of the Constitution. When I look at it, there is no express positive law that prohibits this House from proposing amendments to this bill. I think we have a duty, a legal duty, pursuant to Article 3, Subarticle 1 of the Constitution, as read with Article 257, which does not bar this House from doing away with all unconstitutionalities which are contained in this bill, and ensuring we take a document that is constitutional, that is fair to each and every person. Mr. Speaker, sir, the first major review of the Constitution in this country was done in the 1963 Constitution.